Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do a guide on bones to peaches. We're going to do this quick, effective, and very simple. All you got to do is try and get 200 Telekinetic points, 300 Alchemist points, 2,000 Enchantment points, and 200 Graveyard points. Quick laid out on the Mage Training Arena. Easiest way to get here is going to be a Ring of Dueling teleport from the PvP arena. If you have a Ring of Dueling, teleport here, and then just run straight north. Once you enter the south door here, you are able to then start the Mage Training Arena. Upstairs will be a bank chest which you can access if you need to get extra items throughout the process. And over here on the other end is going to be all of your teleports. Now there's 4 rooms that you have to complete, as I mentioned, the Telekinetic, Alchemist, Enchantment, and Graveyard rooms. I'm going to give you a quick run through of each of those rooms. Ideally, to do the entirety of this, you're going to need a rune pouch. Will help a lot just to store extra runes so you have extra inventory space. I'm carrying a lava battle staff and an air battle staff, as well as water runes, law runes, nature runes, and whatever runes that you need to cast enchantment prayers. For me, I use the level 7 enchantment so that I can then use the highest level enchantment to get the most amount of points. Depending on your magic level, if you're lower and you're not level 97 like me, you may have to actually use a different level of enchantment. So keep that in mind when you are here. Always try and use the best magic spell that you can. Ideally, you're going to be using Bones to Bananas, you're going to be using the highest level enchantment, you're going to be using Telekinetic Grab, and that is pretty much all that you need besides high level alchemy. Now, moving into the rooms, we'll just start with the Graveyard room. This room's pretty simple, honestly, overall. There's not too much to it. You need to have your ability to cast your Bones to Bananas, and then what I recommend that you do is just run over to the west side here. Once you're on the west side, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Just grab bones. My method is simple. I just spam bones until I have about 8 to 10 and then turn them into bananas and drop them in here. I do recommend having a shark or 2 in your inventory to prolong your runs. This room goes pretty quick. I think it took me maybe 15 minutes to do. It might take you a little bit less depending on your proficiency with it. It doesn't take very long to do at all. The bones, basically, there's 4 different styles of bones, and each one's going to give you a different number of bananas, but honestly, I don't pay any attention to that. I just spam grab the bones until I have about 8 to 10, turn them into bananas, and then drop them in the food chute. You're going to get 1 to 2 points every time you do this, and like I say, I did this in about 15 minutes, so you just hammer bones until your inventory has about 8 to 10 of them in there, and then convert them to bananas, and then drop them inside of the deposit chest right here. So you can do a pretty quick run through of this room, not too complex. Overall, it's pretty simple. Just keep in mind you are going to take damage. That's why I have a couple of sharks in my inventory. If you are lower level HP, you may want to have more food, but keep in mind that the more bananas that you put into the deposit chest, the more points that you're going to get, and the faster you're going to get done this room. Moving into the next rune, we're going to go into the Alchemist teleport. Now the Alchemist teleport is a little bit more annoying. It's a little more monotonous for sure. This one took about an hour and a half almost to get done. Basically the way that it works is you have this little box up here that says Alchemy, and then your leather boots are worth 8, adamant kites worth 5, helms worth 1, emeralds worth 30, and rune longswords are worth 15. Now this will stay like this for about 15 to 20 seconds. I think it might even be closer to 30 seconds. I don't know. I calculate I can get roughly 15 high alchemies in while this is being done. Now you want to learn where the items are. It is going to take you a little bit of time to figure it all out because the items will move. So every time this guy says the items are changing, the items will move from the cupboard that they're currently in. There is a rotation to it that you can learn to memorize. It won't take you very long to figure it out, but you do have to kind of pay attention. Now, ideally, what you want to be doing is alching the item that is worth 30 coins. You need to collect 30,000 coins to get the 300 pizzazz points. You get 100 coins per point. So if you have 100 coins, you're going to get 1 point, which is why you need the 30,000. Now, ideally, you see this little green arrow here. You want to be alching both the ones that are 30 coins, but also if the green arrow is landing on it in a perfect world, it rarely happens, you are also not having to spend any runes to cast the alchemy spell. So if there's no green arrow, it's going to cost you your standard runes, which is your natures and your fires, to cast the high alchemy. But if there's a green arrow, just keep in mind wherever that green arrow is pointing to, that will not cost you anything to alch. What I recommend you do is just take 5 from the cupboard. I usually grab about 10 at a time, and then I'll put one item right here in this little corner. So the best way to do it is put it right there, and then just spam click alchemy. It's pretty straightforward. It's just slow and boring, and it takes a long time. So not much to this room. It's just learning the rotation. Like I say, it took me about an hour and a half. I was down here and there was it looked like a couple of bots just running through. So I was just following the bots to wherever they went, and they were always on the right item. So I would recommend going to a world where there's, more than one person, and maybe just following them if you don't feel like memorizing the rotation, because that's what I did. It was kind of the lazy man's method. And then once you have your coins at the north end there is a coin collector. You just go and deposit your coins in there. Like I say, you need 30,000 coins to get your 300 pizzazz points, and then you will be done with the alchemy room. The next room is the Enchanters Room. This one's super simple. I run up over here into this northwest corner because it has all 4 colors nice and easily accessible. This little section here is going to say bonus, and underneath it is going to be the shape that you're going to get the most points for casting your enchantment spell on. So what I recommend that you do is grab 5 or 6 at a time and then cast the enchantment spell, because it does rotate fairly often. As you can see, it doesn't last for very long. So I'll grab 3, 4, 5. I'm a little bit more lazy. I just like to grab the level 7 enchantment spell and cast it once, and then just let my player auto cast. If you want to speed it up, you can click it manually. That will increase the frequency at which your character casts the enchantment spell. I just kind of AFK'd and watched some Netflix while I did this. But yeah, grab your pile from here and then just cast your enchantment spell. You can spam click it if you want, or if you're just lazy like me, you can just click it once and do something else while your character basically completes the room for you. Nothing too complex there. Now, once you have everything enchanted, you are going to end up with these lovely white orbs, and then all you're going to do is take your inventory of orbs over here and deposit them in the hole, and that's going to net you more magic XP, and then your pizzazz points come from actually enchanting the items into orbs. Last but not least, probably my least favorite room of the entire thing was the Telekinetic Room. This one's incredibly slow and painful and monotonous and boring. Really, the goal is to get this little Maze Guardian over to this black square. Now, the nice thing to do off the hop is to click Observe on the Maze Guardian. That's going to draw it up into a perfect little square that's not going to move. If you're not on Observe, the camera's still going to move like normal game function, so it does help with simplifying and making things easy. Now, when you want to telekinetic grab this guy, all you have to do is be standing on the side of whatever direction you want him to go. So if I want him to come across to where I'm currently standing, I just need to stand anywhere on this side and cast Telekinetic Grab on him. That is then going to then pull him over to me. I am just realizing now that I think I dropped my lovely staff. I sure did. There we go. So don't drop your staff like I did. Forgot I switched out my clicks. So anyways, observe the Guardian. Make sure you have your right staff on so you can cast Telekinetic Grab. And then what I do is I run around the room. You can have staminas if you want to speed it up and not worry about your run energy. But basically, as I hit him with the Telekinetic Grab, I'm already moving to my next area. Now, keep in mind, I have True Tile on, so I know the moment that I wrap the corner, and then I just automatically hit him with the Telekinetic Grab the second that I see that blue tile go across. If you don't have True Tile, just wait till you run over to the other side and then cast the Telekinetic Grab. And like I say, you can cast it anywhere on the side of the direction that you want him to go. So you don't have to be perfectly in line with him. As long as you're on the side that you want him to be over on, you can go ahead and cast the Telekinetic Grab and they will move in that direction. Pretty straightforward. This room took, about an hour and a half to complete. It's a bit of a slower room. You get 2 points every time you solve a puzzle, and every time you complete 5, you will get an additional 8 points, which means you have to solve around 60 puzzles to actually get the 200 points. And as you can see, that puzzle took me a minute or two, so it doesn't go by super quickly. It is kind of slow. Yeah, definitely just takes a minute. I do recommend that you memorize the puzzles, because the puzzles will get recycled. So there's only like a few different variations of the puzzles. Throughout my experience, I ended up doing the majority of them. So if you memorize the puzzles, or you at least remember where you're supposed to move the character, it will make these trips significantly shorter, because you won't have to figure out the puzzles. So I do recommend that you obviously pay attention as you're going along, because it's going to save you some time in the long run, and kind of reduce these trips for you, because the puzzles tend to just recycle. Sometimes it's the same puzzle with a slightly different variation of it, but they don't change very much, so it makes it pretty easy once you kind of figure it out. The other thing I do is I like to try and use corners instead of running all the way up and over, so I'll just like run up the corner, and then, you know, as he's moving, I try and move as much as possible just to speed up the entirety of the trip. So it is going to be slow going, but overall it's not complex. Once you figure out the puzzles, it gets pretty straightforward. And once you've got all of your lovely points, you can just head on up to the second level. Next to the bank chest is a lovely rewards guardian. Trade with the rewards guardian. Select your bones to peaches. Everything will highlight in green if you have enough points, and then you can confirm bones to peaches, and you should have now unlocked the skill. And amazing, I can cast bones to peaches. I'm not holding any bones, but it's done now. So very simple, very straightforward. It's kind of boring, but it is one of those useful grinds in the game that eventually you will have to tackle, so I hope this has helped simplify it. It's quick, it's easy, it's not very complex. If you liked it, please remember to drop a like or share this video, and stay tuned for more. Appreciate y'all.